Rolling. Shabuya, shabuya, roll call. My name is Saif.
Yeah.
I watch The Office.
Yeah.
Don't try and hate.
Yeah.
Sweet Tea's my accomplice. Roll call. Shabuya,
Shabuya, roll call. My name is T.
Yeah.
My mouth is big.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
What?
then suck my dick.
Oh, roll call.
Shabuya, roll call. Shabuya, roll call.
We are back, people of the world. It's Sweet Tea and Safe. We in the house. One last time to talk The Office.
This is it.
T, I'm excited.
Where do we begin?
Let's see. Season 9. To me, this is the season of Dwight. Dwight wins the season. He accomplishes everything in life. I don't know what the German word for that is. Perfektenschlag?
Yeah, that's one of the terms I think he uses. Everything does go his way by season's end, and he's finally running the branch. And he has completely consolidated the Scranton Paper market. Even bought himself a new challenger.
That to me was so special because I think I've always argued that Dwight was capable and was the best salesman. I'm glad to see that in the end.
We've got it on record. We know.
Yeah.
The sixth man.
Dwight. Lorraine Wilson, my hero. The rocker, that little cameo on Entourage. I think he's fantastic. And I want to see more Rainn Wilson in the future. Excited to see him outgrow and do something different because Dwight will be forever etched in my brain when I see that man.
It's the same way with John Krasinski. I always just think of Jim, even if he wants to be Jack Ryan or whatever. And in this season, he finally goes to Philly and pursues his dream of sports marketing. And Pam is not too thrilled about it, but she's willing to make it work for at least a portion of the season before Jim finally ends up having to come back to save his marriage. Things were on the rocks there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Gave up his dreams of playing ball with Julius Erving, one of our cameos.
That's right. That's right. Well, he did get to achieve that dream, but who knows what else may have come if he had stayed.
He could be in Austin.
Right. But we do see by season's end that Pam does come around to the idea of Athlead and ends up bringing in another one of our cameos, Nancy Carell, as... Boom. There she is. She's back. And this time she's selling Jim and Pam's place. Jim went ahead and bought the place without Pam's permission, so she figured she could sell it without Jim's. And he's totally on board with the idea, and it allows him to pursue his dream. And they all seem pretty happy with it.
I always wonder what the Scranton real estate market is like and what a house like that would fetch.
I'm sure you could just hop on Zillow and look.
Even though this house is in Los Angeles, it's in the Los Angeles area. I forget. I think it's in Van Nuys. I think that home is in Van Nuys, if I'm not mistaken. That could be a fake source, though. So just to have to our fans out there.
Gotcha. You do point out that it is in Los Angeles, and I think the writers made a slight error when Dwight is visiting Jan, another one of our cameos for this season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love Jan.
And he gets the number of Jan's assistant, Molly, who happens to be another one of our cameos because that is Ellie Kemper, a.k.a. Erin's real-life twin sister. And when he reveals her number, it is 6 digits, and Pam goes, oh, license plate number. But in Pennsylvania, there are 7 digits in the license plate number.
Busted.
Boom. Gotcha.
Gotcha journalism at its finest.
Right? Oh, my goodness.
I am a big fan of Jan reappearing, and God, does she ooze sexuality as she ends her run with The Office. And they give Clark to her as an offering. Clark is the intern, and he's one of the newer characters introduced. Him and the other guy. And I'm, to be honest, I don't even care much for the other guy.
Pete.
But Clark to me.
And they both take the place of Kelly, who is gone for this season, along with Ryan. So they're pretty much absent until the end of the season.
They are in Miami. They're in Miami. Kelly and Ryan going to Miami.
Ohio.
Yes.
The Silicon Prairie.
And right away, they're breaking the fourth wall. And that's also a big narrative within this season. And people are going to get involved behind the cameras. And it just, we're winding it all down and we're saying goodbye. And I think a few of our characters really do mean a lot to us. And I'd honestly just love to keep talking about our favorite moments within each character.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Go ahead.
We've done Jim, Dwight, and Pam.
That's what she said.
And so getting back to, and tied into Pete as well. And I think the reason why Pete I'm not a big fan of Team Pete, is because I feel like he is going for Erin while Andy's away. And for me, Erin is doing her best, but decides that she's going to leave Andy for Pete. And it was for the best at that point, because I think Andy had proven himself incompetent, losing the sale that Clark had earned of the white pages promptly and immediately. So, like, I'm a big fan of...
That's just trademark Andy, though. He loses big clients all the fucking time. This is after his 3-month boat trip with his brother, Josh Groban, who shows up again. Another cameo appearance there. And just
Josh
leaves...
Groban's back.
Yeah, right? And he just leaves Erin behind at the office. To be fair, he retweeted her a bunch, but he only emailed her like 4 times.
Right. Which David Wallace will eventually want to take action. And David Wallace is back as well, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. He ends up catching Andy after Andy almost got away with it, but Erin ends up kind of throwing him under the bus while he's on a speakerphone call with David. And this ends up landing Andy in a world of shit. So he basically gets demoted to sales and uses this as a springboard to pursue his acting career.
Are you Wawa? Baby Wawa. He becomes baby, internet sensation, baby Wawa.
First, he takes a shit on David's car, and then he goes on America's Next Acapella Sensation, or whatever the fuck it's called. And there we get a number of cameos. We've got Aaron Rodgers. Sugar Ray is the guy that's talking to everybody in the line.
Sugar. Yeah.
Clay Aiken.
Yeah, and then I was looking at the Cardi B figure in the middle, who turned out to be Santigold. Okay, and this is a person I was completely unfamiliar with, but Philly product. So again, using local talent.
There it is.
Relative, not Scranton, but Philly. Good for them if hopefully that was some type of forethought. But Santigold's actually down with the Rock Nation, so Jay-Z, one of my favorite hip hop artists. So
there we go. Shout out to Jay-Z if you're listening. So, where does this bring us next? Who do you want to run down next? We've got Darryl. We've got Kevin. I think Darryl is a major figure. Yeah. Darryl ends up getting his job that was promised to him at Athlead by Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Despite him almost botching the interview by shooting a basketball that knocked a light into a tank of fish, killing them all promptly.
Something I've done before, but with laundry detergent. Didn't know any better when I was a kid.
Wait, what?
R.I.P. Goldfish.
You put laundry detergent?
Yes. As a infant child, I must have been 2, 3, 4 years old, somewhere in that ballpark. And I killed our family fish.
This is tragic.
It is. Yes.
Jesus,
so,
holy.
PETA, I hope PETA's not listening.
Yeah, right. They're going to come after you for that. I don't know. I think the statute's probably passed at this point. Well,
they've come at Michael already at one point in in this office.
Yeah. When they threw the blood on him outside of Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh, I love your memory on this stuff. I think for me, the fun narrative was Darryl moving in with Jim, and I think this is the odd couple, and it's a fun odd couple, and you see Jim he's just a slob, right? And it kind of reminds me of you and I living together at multiple times, either me in Erie or you here in Arizona, and our battles and challenges regarding washing dishes. And Darryl's a firm believer in washing the dish right away, where Jim is not. And so that replicated your behavior of, well,
go on.
This theory that soaking was the best method.
Well, sometimes you just got to let it soak. Let the water do its work. I do not leave my clothes all over the place, though. And next time you do come to visit, I will have much, much healthier quarters for you. You won't be sleeping on an air mattress in my dining room.
Do you still have one of those old school style bathtubs?
No. Don't ever talk to me about that thing ever again. I felt like I was showering in a Venus flytrap every time I was inside that thing, because it looks cool, but you have 360 curtains, and you know when the curtains get wet, how they just stick to stuff and they do shit that seems to defy physics? Well, when you have them on all sides, it just seems like you're going to be swallowed up. Taking a shower in there was terrifying. I don't want to fucking talk about it.
I want my own clawfoot someday. I don't have very much size in my bathroom, and it would be a total nightmare, the plumbing job, to redo everything or redo anything. But yeah.
Trust me, you do not want it.
Okay.
Not worth it.
Fair enough. All right, so that was that. The next character, you want to go Kevin? You want to go Phyllis? You want to go Stanley?
Let's do Kevin.
Okay.
His incompetence ends up leading to him getting fired whenever Dwight becomes promoted to manager. But he has a number of high points in this season. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention the point where he walks into Dwight's phone interview with the Iris Black show and asks him what he's doing, because he's sitting there in his underwear and undershirt. And then later in the episode, we see Kevin just sitting right behind him in the same garb, eating his snacks.
He just got naked. Yeah, why is Kevin naked?
And I love how respectful he's being to Dwight while he's on the phone interview. He's not saying anything, even though Dwight is completely flying off the handle.
Dunder Mifflin stock is tanking.
Right.
He throws David Wallace under the bus.
Jim impersonates a black officer. That part kills me too. And Darryl's sitting right behind him. Darryl even smacks him. I love it because that's one of the first times in the show that they're just like, hey, you're fucking, what the fuck? Like, you're being racist. Mm-hmm. There's been other points in the episode where they're blatantly racist. Like what Dwight say the one season when he said, first you got to get the black people to do it. Then the white people will want to do it. Then you got to get the black people to stop doing it. Like, and nobody fucking said anything about that. It's like,
it was in my notes. I wanted to talk about it.
It's just like, so I'm glad that in the final season, they finally acknowledged that, you can't say some of this shit.
I think the show, from a diversity point of view, by adding Clark and Pete, they didn't do themselves any favors. Just like, all right, here's two more white guys we're going to roll out versus trotting out. I did like the Stanley replacement. He reminded me of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I think it's the smile that really sets him apart. Very, very similar to Dave Chappelle.
Well, Phyllis is trying to get him fat like Stanley.
Yeah.
almost like these two have something going on.
I'm telling you. This is it. Phyllis and Stanley had an affair.
We need some evidence, T. We need some hard facts. You can't just make claims.
Stanley mentions in this season that he's had 3 affairs. So if he goes missing or turns up dead, he'll save the cops some time. His wife did it. Cynthia, we meet at the dinner party, and we see in the Niagara episodes. That's his first affair that we know of.
Right.
The second is with a woman named Lydia that is revealed during the course of this season. Now, I believe that Lydia is the woman that was caught on camera with him when he was down in Florida.
Okay.
So this leaves 1 vacant spot on his affairs list. And if you go all the way back to season 2 during the sexual harassment episode, Toby says that people need to disclose inter-office relationships.
Right.
And Phyllis asks, even one-night stands?
There it is.
Yeah. There it is.
Boom.
It happened. On top of that, when Stanley divorces his wife and moves to Florida, he's making bird sculptures. And he makes a special one just for Phyllis.
Oh, there it is. That's the case closed.
Boom.
God, this show, the desire for bobbleheads. Like, I always love bobbleheads. And I think because of the active use of bobbleheads consistently throughout this entire series, it always made me smile. And so when I saw that Phyllis bobblehead, I loved it. But
I don't think the head bobbles, but still. I'm sure if you gave it to Dwight, he could turn it into one like he did to Andy's little statue. I forget what he renamed it, but while Andy was gone, he turned it into a bobblehead.
Oh, is the Cornell Bear, right?
No, it's like Uncle Sam or something. It looks like Uncle Sam. It's the one that he keeps fumbling off of his desk in the intro.
Ah, yes. It almost looks like a sailor, like a captain of a ship.
Well, Dwight pretty much fucking decapitates the thing and puts a spring on it.
Whatever it is, it's dead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think about as dead as Stanley when they had to tranquilize him like a bull.
Oh my God. In the Stairmageddon episode, that is probably one of my favorite episodes this season. What happened to Stanley loving the stairs?
He was fighting the power and eating whatever he wanted.
Yeah. And apparently he took up that mentality again. He said too many morning 3x5s.
He's taking naps because I love working from home because I can take naps, and I couldn't do that historically in the office. I think that's the best thing about working from home. And so Stanley's just doing it in the office. And
well, in this episode, it's not by choice. Dwight shoots him with 3 bolt tranquilizers. And then they slide him down the stairs. I'm pretty sure he probably got a concussion when his head went through the fucking drywall.
It looked very fun. And if I ever have that much cardboard and stairs, I'm going to do that.
Please go feet first.
I will do my best.
Yeah, they get him to the client in that episode who's a friend of his sister, and he ends up just bullshitting his way through the entire thing, and they leave successful. And Dwight thinks that they should shoot him up with bull tranquilizer every single day.
I think there's a certain amount of drug use that does enhance your performance, and I've personally benefit from that. But Packard coming in to poison everybody with drugs leads to one of my favorite moments and episodes of this season.
He uses the cupcakes from that new cupcake place in the mall.
The Steamtown Mall, to be fair. They were doing Valentine's Day mini mall discounts, and
yeah, everybody wanted to check out the cupcake place and get a mani-pedi.
Yeah, that's right.
Angela has one of her favorite moments of the season there. They have to use a watch cleaning kit to clean her fucking toenails, apparently.
They cheer like a hero when she goes into the store.
Yeah. And she ends up being publicly embarrassed by the senator and then ends up getting divorced and marrying Dwight by the end of the season.
Right. There was some great documentaries about the closeted gay movement in Washington, D.C., and it always, and I think maybe they chose him on purpose, just they chose really conservative Republicans who were closeted homosexuals, like Senator Lipton.
Yeah.
And in this, we know that Senator Lipton is a Republican because he has a photo of John McCain and George Bush on a stairwell in his home. When he's when he has a party.
Yeah.
And, so doesn't surprise me that they chose that arc. My favorite is Larry Craig, the senator from Idaho who got caught in a Minnesota bathroom stall. That was always my favorite coming out party for a sitting Republican who was against gay marriage and gay rights for that matter.
And he was caught with a man in a bathroom stall, huh?
He was soliciting sex, yeah. And he's actually a lawyer by trade, which he just wanted to get it over with. I'm surprised he didn't fight it or do something further. I thought he could just maybe sweep it under the rug and nobody would find out about it. But the world found out about it.
We didn't forget Larry.
We did not forget Larry. And if you ever want to come on our show,
feel free.
So, but yeah, I felt bad for Angela. But in the end, she reveals, well, first in the very beginning, Dwight's not the father. And I don't know how Angela worked that out. But later, Dwight picked up on the baby's mannerisms and determined that it was a Schrute. And it's revealed later that it is, in fact, Dwight's son. So Dwight and Angela do have a kid together.
That part always mystified me. Because didn't the doctor come out and blatantly say he wasn't the father? Yeah.
So who did Angela...
Yeah.
How did Angela do that?
Yeah. That part made no sense to me. But go on.
No, they kind of left it gaping, but the child does have an affinity for things Dwight is into. And obviously this man is gay and they were still carrying on with their affair. One of my favorite moments is when Angela needs Dwight's help. And she goes to see him in their spot, and he's naked, and he's like, "Come on in, the water's fine." Oh, I can't wait to use that line somewhere.
Don't worry, you'll have your opportunity, I'm sure.
I have just a few openings and some quotes, and I'm ready to move to cameos.
Well, what about Meredith? Can't leave out poor Meredith.
You're right. So Meredith Palmer ain't no narc.
Floor meat? Sure. Flesh hoover? You got it. Why does nobody stop her?
And good for Pete there on that, and also for being a diehard fan. So I'll give Pete some love.
Yeah, but he's not a Phillies fan.
Definitely not a Phillies fan. Was he into tennis?
We find out later that Meredith actually did attain her school psychology degree over the course of the first 7 seasons. They didn't show any of that. And her son really did get a face tattoo and is now a male stripper.
Jakey.
And I love that it's the same actor. They kept the same actor for the whole series as her kid. That part always made me happy. They might have mixed up Pam's mom or Andy's parents, but they kept Jakey. Good on them.
What I liked about Meredith getting her PhD in school psychology, yes, she was getting hammered, but it was college.
Right?
I love it. It's so true. It makes me want to go to school just to get hammered again. Oh, boy.
Speaking of school, Creed has a moment that reminds me of school when he's playing hooky.
Yeah.
He's not in the office and the bus picks him up. And he hops on, and as soon as he notices where he's at, he goes, "Dear God." He ends up getting arrested, but at the end of the season, he was in some sort of drug ring, and he was in the grassroots in the 60s. I don't know if he was tied to the Taliban, but he knows they have great heroin.
I think he was working with Carter and building gnomes. Pretty sure episode 5, he killed a guy.
Yeah, he's covered in blood. Yeah, and by season's end, he has some sort of alter ego.
We also get further confirmation in season 9 that Creed and Meredith definitely fucked.
Yeah, they're in the meeting, and Meredith complains that the phone number written on the men's room wall is not hers. It's off by 1 digit. But Creed confirms that the number written on the wall is also a good time, just less mileage. So clearly he's experienced both.
Yeah, I think Meredith hooks up with... She shows her boobs. God, the woman is out of control. We really do need to just do a pod on Meredith on her own. But I want to settle down here on my favorite opening, and also bring in one of my favorite cameos is Asian Jim, played by Randall Park.
I'm just envisioning the whole scene right now.
Well done. Even Pam and Randall exchange a kiss. Excuse me, Pam and Asian Jim. They've hired an actor to pull one over on Dwight, and it's fantastic.
They even Photoshop him and some Asian babies into their family picture. I always noticed that his picture was changed. I never noticed that the kids were too until this season. God.
Just the detail, the effort that Jim puts in. He even made a treasure map sent by Robert Dunder and gets everybody to end up in the warehouse destroying it.
Yeah, and Glenn's using it to drink coffee out of, dip his donuts in.
Yeah. Every time I see people eating donuts and coffee on TV, I crave donuts and coffee. Just like I crave pumpkin pie.
I hate coffee, so I can't relate. Who hates pumpkin pie?
No, whenever this is that season right now, and everything's pumpkin spiced, pumpkin lattes.
Yeah.
And Dwight wearing a pumpkin head is my final favorite.
I guess I could just wait for it to rot off. Pumpkins have an amazing shelf life. I didn't know if you knew this or not. I once had one that lasted until May. No, April. But still, from October to April, just sitting around. Pretty fantastic.
We got apple this year. What pie did you get from Kiss the Cook in Glendale last time you were out here?
Oh, I have no idea. I hope apple. Apple's usually my favorite.
We each got a pie. I remember you and I, but Kiss the Cook. I got to go back to them and scoop up a pie and support that local business.
Get apple for me.
Okay, I will. Might get a cherry for myself. Mango was one. Either way. I didn't even know, because there's an episode in The Office on the work bus where they detour it to a place to get pie.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned they have very low regard for pumpkin, which I thought was interesting.
Who?
The crew. They were like, if we don't get there before 5, all we're going to be left with is pumpkin.
I think they're just expressing their disappointment that they're not going to get their favorites.
And apparently pumpkin is not it.
Yeah. Well, because you can always get pumpkin. Pumpkin pie is readily available anywhere.
Okay.
If you're going out of your way for pies like that, you want something special.
Pencils down, everyone. We got lice.
Yeah, Pam brings it in from the kids. Blames Meredith. She shaves her head.
Wears a different wig every single episode through the end.
I love it. There's an episode where she wears a wig that's pretty much identical to her normal hair.
I think Meredith even said Cronkite was hot. She can go back in time. She'd give that mustache a ride.
Oh my God.
She does not disappoint, and we appreciate you, Meredith Palmer, whoever you are. Kate Flannery. Great Kate.
She's just proof that there's normal people out there that think about taking a dump in a shredder all the time.
Speaking of unnormal people, Dwight brings in a whole cameo of friends. And Erin shows up one day and says, some people from the forest where we harvest our paper are here.
The one dude's from Breaking Bad. and somebody else is caught eating Stanley's fucking sandwich. It's always Stanley's lunch that's getting fucked with. You know, it makes me want to go back when Michael returned after the Michael Scott Paper Company and was eating everybody's lunches in the fridge. Was he eating Stanley's then too?
I think he goes, Phyllis. I think he said Phyllis.
Oh my God.
Or yeah, either way.
Oh, Jesus.
He's not happy with whatever it is.
No. Oh, God.
But that Parmesan sandwich that Dwight...
The meatball Parmesan. It's the worst. He takes one bite. He's absolutely disgusted. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's good. That's why we watch it. It makes us laugh. It gives us the giggles.
Oh, you know who one person that I think we forgot to give due credit to is Oscar.
Yes.
Oscar. And one of his better moments is when he gets invited to the Schrute funeral. He gets the dirt thrown in his face.
The red dirt.
Dwight comes over and he's praying under his breath that, he doesn't want the dirt thrown in his face. And so Dwight spite throws it in his face. And then completely forgot that he did so until Oscar shows up at the fucking funeral. At which point we get to meet Dwight's siblings, including one of our other cameos, Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley as Brian Schrute. If Dwight's big city Dwight, I don't even want to know what Brian is. Well, we know he's a pot farmer or a worm farmer. And his sister is a published writer.
I had a little difficulty finding information on Dwight's sister. Turns out her name is Maria Alejandra Delfino, and she's Venezuelan. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
But so
that episode, real quick before we go on, was essentially the pilot episode. I think I might have mentioned this last season, but there was going to be a spinoff called The Farm. And this is essentially the pilot episode for that spinoff. And it must not have gotten good ratings because we never got to see that series to fruition.
I would have watched it. I'm willing to, and I believe each character, it almost should be like the Wu-Tang Clan when each one of them got their own solo albums. I do believe every character should get their own spinoff.
Well, we know Kevin's doing his own podcast right now, and Angela and Pam have their own.
Well, Oscar's running for office when he's not running from Dwight's funeral.
After the shotgun incident. Jesus Christ.
It reminds me of just when Dwight called him out. Also, the Liberal looks it up on Wikipedia and everybody believes it when he's talking about the Christmas episode. Wilkenschein.
And that actually reminds me.
Belschnickel.
Yeah. And that actually reminds me, I think in our season 1 episode, you mentioned if The Office could pull off using blackface, and they did use blackface in that episode. Nate was supposed to show up as Belschnickel's little assistant. And that scene was actually cut because it is now deemed inappropriate.
Blackface is inappropriate.
But later on in that episode, you can still see that he looks more like a sad clown, but it looks like a black beard. Yeah. That's because he wiped most of it off, but there's still some on there. That's why Stanley's giving him a dirty look, I think.
There it is.
Boom.
Sadly, all good things come to an end, and so does the final episode of season 9, the finale.
Oh.
Dwight calls out Bill and Melinda Gates as propagandists, foreshadowing to their part in 5G vaccine distribution and COVID.
Right.
I'm just still mad at you, Bill, for fucking Microsoft. All right. Bookings is cool though.
And we also got to meet a couple of other people before we get to the end that I would be kicking myself if we didn't mention. Stephen Colbert got his few minutes as Broccoli Rob. And I think
Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr showed up for an episode or two. And then
Andy's agent gets him a chemical video where he has to wash his eyes out with water.
That's right. And then one of my favorite cameo nominations for this season, which aligns perfectly with us discussing the final episode. Elizabeth the stripper.
Oh, she still tastes like cigarettes.
And that's apparently not what Dwight wants.
Can we get some bread for the table?
For the last time, she's not a waitress. Well, you could say that again. Jim's filming the whole thing. I want to know what he's planning to do with that video. And
Gutenprank number 3.
And what I love is while that's going on, we see Jakey stripping for the women back at the house, but Mose is spying on them through the window. Oh God. So
I love that Nellie ended up in Portland and she called it the Scranton of the EU.
We do get to see a number of people come back in this final episode, including Kelly and Ryan, who Ryan apparently has a baby now with some woman that took off on him. And Kelly is there with Ravi, whom she left with to go to Miami. And the two of them end up running off into the sunset together, leaving behind the baby with Ravi, who gives it to Kevin. Why would he give it to Kevin? That's probably making it easy for Nellie to scoop said baby and take it to the Scranton of the EU, Poland.
Nicely tied, Teak.
So we know where they end up. But I don't know if we can really count it as a cameo. The best return of the entire series is also in this episode.
Oh, yeah. Our man, Michael Scott.
Don't call it a comeback.
Dwight's bestest mensch.
Yeah, Jim makes up some bullshit rule so that he can bring Michael in. And as you can see, Dwight is thrilled. And it really was a fitting ending, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that Michael wasn't at the PBS thing.
Yes.
On stage because he was such an intricate...
Yeah, that part did bother me a little bit. But it always does get me that Erin's parents do find her during that sequence of events.
Played by Joan Cusack and Ed Begley, America's favorite environmentalist. Great cameos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part always gets to me. And when Michael arrives on the scene. And they have an excellent wedding. Phyllis has to carry Angela down the aisle because she spent several hours in Moses' trunk the night prior.
Yep, of course. Where's my bride? Buy us a drink.
And when she hops out, she calls him every name in the fucking book. Oh, I love it. Oh, I absolutely love it.
I love that the whole thing is a PBS documentary. That to me tickled my heart as a proponent of public radio and public broadcasting.
But you see how they're gouging the actors at the end. Stanley had to pay $50 for a bag with his picture on it.
No doubt. It all goes to fund it. Congress doesn't want to do it. A bunch of propaganda showing multiculturalism and stuffed animals on Sesame Street. We got to shut it down. It's offensive.
Oh, my God. There's a couple things I wanted to point out before we wrap things up.
Sure.
Dwight brings Devin back.
Yes.
This is after Creed goes MIA, so he promptly takes Creed's spot in the office. Creed looks like is he living out of the janitor's closet, or is he just doing his laundry in there? I don't understand. It seems like he's set up shop there for more than just the evening.
He looks like he should be on an episode of Kung Fu. He's like David Carradine, is what he looks like.
Oh, God. I just love that they included his real life resume as part of his criminal background in the final episode, because he really was in the grassroots.
Okay.
The only other
stealing
thing,
weapons grade LSD.
well, that part is TBD. The one part that bothered me, besides the whole doctor baby thing with Angela and Dwight, was that Jim bikes to work to save gas and help the environment, right? But how does Pam get to work?
Shouldn't they just carpool and call it?
I mean, they were until he decided to go bike. But doesn't she still have to drive the kids to daycare or school or whatever?
Jim's pretty selfish as a whole. Many people have critiqued Jim as a bully, and yeah, there's a little gripe there. I agree with you. Pam bends over, takes care of those kids, so.
Yeah, we see Pam make a lot of sacrifices, and in the end, I'm glad that she chooses to go along for the ride, because it can take you so many more places than being stuck in your own backyard.
And I appreciate her mural. I was kind of hoping that she did the one of Dwight, and he comes manager. He looks like he should be in North Korea with the same
Oh, my God.
I'm doing aerobics in the parking lot.
I did like that part.
Yeah.
If everywhere did that, I think people would be a lot happier. At least their office seems to be happier.
That's right.
Is there anything else that you wanted to hit on before we wrap this up?
Are you high? Because if so, to speak my truth, I would appreciate the sacrifice of including me in some hits off your kind bud.
Clark, for only being in the show one season, really does make an impression.
He does. I am a fan of Clark, so
he had to go above and under with Jan.
Yeah, Clark Duke, big surprise. He's from Arkansas, Glenwood, Arkansas, apparently. Did you know he was in Superbad?
No. When? Yes. He's at the party. Oh my God, he's at the party. He's at the party, right? I feel like I recognize his face from the party now that you said that. Oh, that's fucking
So there
awesome.
it is.
Oh,
So there it
that's
is.
so good. I love it.
It all comes back.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love Superbad. Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah. I figured I'm happy. I think it's the way to end, honestly.
It's the perfect note to end it on. So I've enjoyed this ride. If any of our listeners out there have any feedback for us or any other series that they'd like us to cover, please feel free to interact with us on Twitter at CTS Terry or by searching for the Catch the Sky podcast on Instagram or Facebook. Saif, until next week.
We have so many topics from our listeners. I appreciate the shouts out. We'll talk about open relationships soon.
Ooh.
Deal breakers for dating. Maybe hooking up with friends' exes or exes hooking up with friends. Steamy stuff. Our listeners want smut, T. They want smut.
Sex sells, right?
It's the scent. I'm a pornographer. I already got Pornhub on my Roku.
We all are deep down. We just don't want to admit it.
That's it.
So until next week, don't have any of your porn get leaked online, and keep trying to catch the sky.